So, as mentioned, we're talking all things nutrition today. I'm catching up with MLA's Group Manager of Food and Nutrition, Monique Cashin from MLA. Monique, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
So, how long have you been at MLA for, Monique?
I've been at MLA for a year now, so actively working, championing the role of red meat in a healthy and sustainable diet. Had a really busy year, doing lots of communications and research with lots of different stakeholder groups. Yeah, it's been a really fun and challenging time. I'm an accredited practicing dietitian, and I've worked over the last 25 years with a number of different businesses, helping them use nutrition as a platform to help build trust and enhance their reputation. So I'm really enjoying what I'm doing at MLA.
So, what brought you to the red meat industry?
Oh, good question. Well, I was working at Woolworths, which is Australia's largest retailer, and I was working with a number of different categories. And the protein or red meat category was always the most exciting and interesting. So when this opportunity came up, I thought, what a great way to transfer the skills that I had learned working for a large retailer in customer insights and sensory and nutrition, and bring that to the red meat category.
And what have you found has been the most challenging aspect of working in the red meat industry?
I think the challenging part is just all the different stakeholders who are involved in the industry. So you've got really, you really do have from farm to fork. And I think it's just making sure that they're always front of mind in the work that we do so that we are making an impact. I think that's the major thing that's going on, just making sure that what I'm doing is resonating with the people that we really want to understand what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Always pulled in multiple different directions. I thought you were going to say the acronyms. But generally it is the most challenging part. But you must be across it, being from Woolworths anyway. So
Absolutely, yes.
let's talk. So you probably would notice that this isn't my area of strength, nutrition and wellness. But let's
I
talk.
think it's growing.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning every day. Let's talk trends at the moment. Well, what are you seeing as the top nutrition trends, or I guess food and nutrition and wellness trends at the moment?
Yeah, well, I think where it's stemming from is what we're all feeling right now is cost of living is probably one of the biggest concerns globally. And what we're seeing is that people are prioritizing and valuing where they want to spend their money and their time. And interestingly, the latest global insights that we've conducted showed that health and wellness is now people's number one priority. And I think that's really interesting because it's showing that that's where people want to spend their time and resources. And when it comes to health and wellness, it means many different things to different people. So it's such a personalized approach to what people want to do. But what they, could be physical health, it could be mental health, it could be both. But I think what's important is that it's really top of mind for people and what they want to do in their behavior and attitudes on a daily basis. But some of the big trends we're seeing is a real move to fresh and healthy. So people want to be able to prepare fresh, healthy meals at home. And that goes across everything. So whatever your condition is, that's a really important trend for us to be aware of. And it's something where red meat can definitely fit. Another really important trend is around fitness and health and longevity. So, as we have a global population that's aging, longevity is becoming really important. And the role of protein that plays there is hugely paramount. And then you've also got weight management. So, we still have a lot of people around the globe who are obese and wanting to lower their weight to feel good. They want to feel good, and people want to be able to proactively take care of their health. So yeah, they're the major trends I'm seeing is that all about freshness, all about people proactively wanting to take care of their health, and that it is highly personalized.
Oh, I was hoping you'd mention weight loss drugs because I really wanted to delve into that a little bit. I guess I wanted to because I only recently read a report from the International Meat Secretariat around weight loss drugs. And their take in terms of the benefits towards natural proteins, like red meat, and my take was that it presents an opportunity for red meat. Being nutrient dense and a natural food, even though consumption levels or food consumption levels may go down, the opportunity for whole and nutrient dense food is there. Is that correct, or is there something we should be concerned about in there as well?
Oh, that's absolutely the opportunity. So, like, I think we're at the really early stages of GLP-1 medications globally. So, what we're starting to see is that, yes, as soon as people go on the drugs, they straight away feel that their appetite is reduced and they're not eating as much. So, therefore, they are looking at ways to get more nutrients into their body in a more in a way that they don't have to eat a lot of food. And that's what's called nutrient density. And that's where red meat fits in really well because it's high protein and full of nutrients that people need. But they probably won't be consuming as much as they were before. So the opportunity for us is to help educate on what a nutrient dense meal is and the role that red meat can play in that. There is a little concern that when people start to go on them as well, they don't feel 100%. They feel a bit nauseous and sick, and so they might move away from certain foods. And we have seen some data where people might move away from red meat, but they bring it back in because once they've gotten used to a new level of feeling of how they operate, is that they start to bring it back in because they understand the health and the nutrient density aspect of it. And then also the drugs are very expensive. So some people go on them for a short or a medium or a longer time, but there will be periods where they're not on the medication. So therefore they're still having to follow a healthy lifestyle. And that's what people are finding is that they need to be able to maintain muscle because a lot of muscle is lost with the weight that is lost in the initial stages. And that again is where red meat plays a good role because it helps to maintain muscle as well as giving them the nutrients that they need. So there's a huge opportunity. The concern is in the little bit at the beginning where people might drop out, but what we're seeing is that they're coming back in because of the nutrient density component of red meat.
And I suppose I should be talking to the economists about this a little bit, but the dollar bill's always and the money back through the supply chain is always front of mind. I guess if they're eating less, spending less on food, an opportunity when they are purchasing red meat to actually make that purchase count and possibly spend more. Do you think?
Exactly. And what they're definitely spending less on is snacks.
Right.
So that area is reduced, and they are looking at having more smaller meals throughout the day. So it's about giving them that permission of having red meat at lunch and dinner, at those mealtime moments that matter, and showing them how it can actually help them survive better on these long-term medications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I guess Australia is overhauling the Australian dietary guidelines. I only heard about this the other day through some casual reading. I wasn't aware this was happening. Is that I know that the US has sort of dibbled and dabbled in that space recently. Is it of concern for the red meat industry around the update of these dietary guidelines?
So the Australian Dietary Guidelines, they were last reviewed in around 2013. So it's been over a decade. And so the opportunity now is just to have a look at them and say, has the evidence changed in that time? Is there anything that we should be looking at? But look, honestly, in as a whole, the dietary guidelines won't change too much because the core guidance is still there and consistently around the world that people should be having a balanced and moderate intake of the core foods. So people having more fruit and vegetables, whole grains, high quality protein from animal based sources such as red meat and dairy is still really important. The concern that's happened for this time round is that sustainability is being brought into the conversation. So nutrition and sustainability is starting to be intertwined. So at this point, we don't know what the recommendations are going to come out for red meat. But when we look at the nutrition science has not changed to be adversely against red meat. If anything, it's been more for it with the understanding of high quality protein, the bioavailable zinc and iron, and that certain groups of Australia aren't getting enough of those nutrients, particularly women. So there's definitely a strong role for red meat in a nutrition sense. And when it comes to sustainability as well, all the sustainability practices that our farmers are starting to introduce and have been introducing over time, I think it would be pretty disappointing if the recommendations came out not favorable towards what they already have been, with red meat being a core food that people need for their health. But if it does come out, then we have the opportunity in Australia to put together a submission, a scientific evidence-based submission around why we don't support those recommendations.
Yeah, we've been through the ringer on this one many times before on the environment and sustainability, and I strongly believe that the rhetoric's changed over the last 5 years as to the previous 5 years of we were seen as the problem for quite some time. You famously remember that a famous airline CEO came out and blamed our industry, even though he owned
Yeah.
an airline. Um,
Yes.
and then, I think the work that the industry's done over the last, 10 years or so has really positioned us to be part of the solution. So, I guess, even though I personally think it's a bit of scope creep, but it's something I'm sure our industry is prepared to tackle.
It's not, I mean, it's not, it doesn't impact people's nutrition. Nutrition guidelines should be focused on what's good for you healthily. But the conversation around the world is starting to become intertwined around what people eat and how they eat. But I think from an Australian focus is that, we are very good at what we do when it comes to our farming practices. And there is quite a focus on reducing food waste. So that's one area to help tackle sustainability, and also reducing what people are calling ultra processed foods. So a lot of packaged foods. They sort of seem to be tackling more of it from that angle than targeting what the red meat industry is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Great story to tell and great people to tell it. Now, we've got some exciting activity coming up, bringing a whole bunch of nutritionists from around the globe to Australia to learn about the Australian red meat production system. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that project?
Yes, yeah, we're very excited. We've got around 13 nutrition experts coming to Sydney, and we're taking them to regional New South Wales as well, to have a conversation and clarify all these things that we've been talking about today. So getting everybody together and getting them to get curious and talk about the role of red meat in a healthy diet, and having that opportunity for them to ask their questions and see firsthand how red meat is produced in Australia. They're very interested to observe it and see it and understand more. And we've got such a wealth of people coming that work in a variety of settings. So they've either got a nutrition background or they've got a very strong content creator background for social media. So we've got a wealth of experts coming that work in clinical settings, in food service, hospitals, in catering institutions, very high presence on social media. So it's going to be a really great opportunity for us to engage them, to hear from them around what's happening, what's important to them when it comes to red meat, but also an opportunity for us to help them elevate their communications. They're really keen to know more about red meat, how to cook it, how to make healthy meals from it, from a real practical sense. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them to come and see regional New South Wales, see Sydney, experience it, but also learn so much about how to make healthy meals with red meat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it, like anything these days, consumers themselves take their cues or their advice from multiple different sources. I guess in the nutrition world, like we know that chefs influence purchasing decisions for consumers greatly. I'm assuming that's the same in the nutrition world.
Yeah, well, when it comes to nutrition, there's a lot of people that talk nutrition. So you don't have to be an accredited nutritionist to talk nutrition online. So there's a lot of conversations that are happening. And I think what our role is to make sure that they're accurate and evidence-based. And that's the opportunity that we have with bringing all these experts out here, is to give them that confidence around communicating around red meat and how it can make healthy, balanced meals, how to cook all these certain types of cuts for your family. Um, so I think it'll really help them be more credible in the conversations that they're having with their in audiences.
And we've recruited the big guns as well. Dr. Joe
Yes,
McMillan
yes.
coming in to assist. I think she'll add a really great perspective.
Yes, very fortunate to have Dr. Joe McMillan as a very good friend of Meat and Livestock Australia. She's worked with MLA for over a decade now, so she really understands the science. She understands how red meat's produced in Australia, and I think she's going to be a great advocate and an excellent facilitator of the conversations that people are wanting to have in the week that they're here.
Fantastic. Well, Monique, thanks very much for your time. It's goodbye for now, but I think that we might get down there and do some interviews with some of those leading nutrition experts from around the globe.
I think that's a great idea.
Good luck with the trip.
Thank you.
I know how challenging these things are, and then we'll have a chat to you after the dietary guidelines are launched as well.
Yes, they should be released later this year.
Excellent. That's great. Thanks, Monique.
Good. Thanks for having me.